Hello lovelies, so welcome to the channel. It is Tuesday, so I'm a little out of whack for my videos, but we had a really busy weekend. It was my niece's first birthday and my dad's 50th, so nothing got done last weekend. I did want to start my challenge series last weekend, didn't get the chance to, but we're gonna do it today. So I struggled with, if you didn't watch my 2019 preparation video, basically the plan is I'm going to do a challenge series. So I'm going to pick a challenge that I've typed up a bunch of challenges, some that I found online, some that some subscribers have recommended as well, because obviously it wouldn't be very fair if I chose all the challenges, because it's not really a challenge for me. So some subscribers have added some as well, and in all of these videos, I am going to remind you guys, if you think of a new challenge, put it in the comments below, because we're going to fill this jar up and add to it. Challenge me to do something. Challenge me to do something arty, creative, scrapbooky, anything. And then at the same time, I'm going to challenge you right back. So this is a challenge series. I am going to select a challenge out of the jar, and then I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to challenge you guys to do it too. So there's scrap lifts, mood boards, sketch challenges, use a new product, least favorite color combo, things like that. And once I've done it, I want you to do it too. And not only do it, but if you're on Instagram or on social media, we're gonna have to come up with a hashtag or something. Tag me in it so I can see what you've come up with for this challenge. So that is the goal. We're gonna have a challenge series that we're gonna do together. Now, I struggled with how I was going to pick a challenge, because I didn't think it through very well. And there was just so many good ones. I'm like, I can't pick. And then my husband's like, well, I'll pick it for you. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And that's when I decided to print them all up and put them in a jar, so he can just pull one out. And then obviously later on I can pull them out as well. But he's really excited to help this time. So we're going to recruit him. He's going to choose our first challenge for 2019. And we're going to get started. Okay, so say hi, hubby.
Hi.
So he's going to draw our first challenge. All right.
Here we go.
Make it a good one, or I'm blaming you.
Here we go. What have we got?
What is it?
Use distress crayons.
Ooh, not bad. It's a good one. All right. Thank you, dear.
That's okay.
Love you.
Love you.
All right. Let's get started.
Okay, so first off, I am going to say if you don't have distress crayons, that's fine. If you do have another kind of water-soluble crayon, go ahead and use that. And also, if you don't have distress crayons, don't feel like you can't join the challenge series at a later date. This might be a great way to see if it might be a product you want to invest in the future. See how I use it. See how hopefully a few other subscribers use it and share their products as well. Because remember, that is the goal. To do this together, to challenge ourselves to use our products or to try something new. So I'm going to take this challenge very literally, and I'm only going to use distress crayons on my art journal page. It was interesting. I'm going to start by saying I don't usually gesso this album. This is my new Dilutions large album. I got a new one for this year. I don't generally gesso the pages, but I know very little about these crayons because I don't use them as much, which is why this challenge was really good. I haven't actually experimented with them a lot. So, but I do know that by adding water you can make them blend, but they need a surface to be able to blend on. If I had have put this straight onto the page, I dare say it probably would have left the scribble marks. By putting that gesso down first, I was able to completely blend it. But because they are water reactive and this is gesso, I think it does give it a more of a lighter look, although I'm still really happy with the colour pigment. I really am. So I am adding a lot of water just to get that to blend. Now this is just my background layer. I just wanted some colour on my page, so I scribbled it on top of my gesso. I used a very light layer of gesso. By applying gesso with an old gift card, it gives it a very light layer and it doesn't take much for it to dry. Then I added a butt ton of water and, you know, made it even harder to dry. But that's because I really like it when these colours blend. Now, they are distressed, so they are going to blend together, and they are water reactive. So I thought I'd see how many techniques I could use with these crayons. I didn't get overly creative. Let's call this basic level. I did some basic techniques that I thought would work. So I started by scribbling straight to the page and then adding water. And then I'm using a stamp block. My Pour Dilutions block has seen better days, but I like to use stamp blocks as a mixing palette. I do it often. And I'm scribbling it straight onto that and then adding water and using it like a paint or a watercolor, seeing how that works. And it's given me a good way to add color to extra places on my layout. As you can see, I'm going in with a few different tones and blending them together. Now, because of that gesso and that water, I am able to blend them together even though they are a little dry. So now I'm going to work on some contrasting color. It's not really contrasting because it's just a darker shade, but I thought I'd try some stenciling. Now, I've done this in the past. You can, now these smudge beautifully on a dry page or a pre-gessoed or not. They smudge really well. And the way I find they work best with a stencil, you scribble on the stencil a little bit and then smudge it through with your finger. And as you can see, it's giving me a really nice pattern. I will list the colours in the description below because I wasn't really paying attention to the colour names. I just pulled a bunch of colours out. Yes, it is still primarily my colour palette. We're going to have to make that one of our challenges. I think it might be actually. Work on a specific colour scheme or a different colour combo than you usually do. Now, I'm trying to see if I can use the watered down mixture through a stencil. But because I had that pre-gessoed background, basically all it's doing is the ghosting technique. It's actually taking that colour off. So I'm only really getting a ghosted image. But either way, I don't care. I like it. I don't mind. It's giving me that other layer of stenciling. Might not be pink, but it is giving me the ghosting technique, which is a really cool technique as well. Works best on a gessoed page. If you don't know what that is, let me know in the comments below and I will do another video and explain much more about the ghosting technique. Basically, it's taking paint off through a use of a wet wipe or wet media of some kind. I'll explain it better in another video. I thought I'd add some splatters because I love splatters, and the pink was there, adding it with water, throwing it on with a paintbrush, and I like to use a very big mop brush. It holds more water and I find it works really well for watercolors and things of the same texture. And then I decided to scribble on the edge of a playing card, not a playing card, a gift card. I use old gift cards. Actually, this is a time zone card. I use old reloaded time zone cards. And yeah, just to give me some lines. Now, this is my favorite technique. I do this a lot with scribble sticks, but I've never done it with distressed crayons, but it works really well. So I am wetting my stamp, giving it a light spritz of water, and then I am colouring the distressed crayon straight onto it and stamping onto the page. The more water, the more watercolory effect you will get. I love using this technique with my scribble sticks. Like I said, I haven't done it with the distress, but it works just as well. And it is a beautiful way of getting different coloured stamped images and also different looks from the same stamp. The more water, the more it flows and bleeds, so it looks very watercolory. It is a lot of fun. But like I said, I'm just trying to use a whole bunch of different techniques with the same product. Now, this is where I do branch out and get some black gesso because I didn't have a black distress crayon, so I'm using black gesso. It's my form of using black paint. And this is my focal image. I'm just going with a 1. I didn't really want to think too much about a focal image, and I thought this would be a nice little nod to my first challenge and my first spread in this new journal. So yeah, just went with the 1, and then I just wanted to bring in some more of that black with a small section of numbers. And then that's going to be it for this layout. I absolutely love how this turned out, especially considering it was done completely with distress crayons. So, by all means, I hope you take up this challenge as well, and I do hope you follow this series. There will be a challenge video every week. I promise you that. And yeah, we're going to discover this series together. So I hope you will follow along, and can't wait to see what you guys come up with. All right, see you soon. Bye for now.